The following program is sponsored in part by To a Woman's Heart. The thoughts and views expressed by the following production don't necessarily reflect those of the network or any sponsors.
Published work Love, Something Infinite, back in 2011. And then his second novel was Love from Behind, which is already there. And followed a third, It's Fine. It's Fine. No time for moderation now. And the third installment is Love Changes, which will be coming out. And he's a native of Chicago, Illinois, and considering a run for mayor. Welcome.
Every time I hear an intro like that, I'm like, bitch, this sounds amazing. Oh, that's me. But I'll bring the end of the story. So, my story begins as a 6-year-old boy who read fairy tales, mythology, and folklore from the Childcraft Encyclopedia set. I'm dating myself, but 78 was a great year. The Bible stories of Daniel were also a favorite as I was raised Christian. That makes a difference. And as a gay man in the making, you probably know where the story is going, but let's not jump ahead. I also read my uncle's unintended X-Men comics and a few other up-and-coming Marvel titles. But Aurora Monroe, the storm-bringing, wind-riding mistress of the elements, was and remains my spirit animal. Being a kid and being very visual, I was also big into cartoons. My fandom was, to borrow a phrase, huge, folks, huge. He-Man and She-Ra's secrets were fabulous. The trials of the Thundercats were amazing, and the steel-plated nerves of the Silverhawks were amazing. The Smurfs were the smurfiest the Care Bear stare could be. Rainbow Bright and My Little Pony chased the clouds away. The Transformers and GoBots were, well, to borrow another phrase, transformational. G.I. Joe, Scarlet, and Lady J were fierce. And Jericho Benson, excuse me, Jim and the Holograms were truly, truly, truly outrageous. Yeah, we know where this story is going, but let's not jump ahead. For the most part, it was animated and had a hot mega mix music track, something like a little She-Ra, She-Ra. I was there for it after school and all Saturday morning. I was an addict, Filmation, Hanna-Barbera, and Disney were my pushers. By the age of 10, I was so drawn to storytelling in all of its forms, but that wasn't enough. I always found a flaw. The heroes didn't do enough for me in those 22 minutes. The villains weren't cunning enough. So I found myself writing my own stories, but I didn't start with pen and paper. Instead, I would pull out the corner of the bedroom I shared with my brother, who was 5 at the time, and act out the stories. Not with posable action figures, nor the Thundercats Lair playset, or even the 2 intricate Lego castles. The latter weren't to be played with, despite how many times my brother got into my stuff. No, I played with random loose buttons and other shiny brown discarded bits of plastic. I said weird. 2 or 3 buttons and my initially audible made-up voices breathed life into individual magical characters whose movements across the hardwood floor, my first storyboard, were wholly my own and of course depended on my own hands, unlike their countless, often battery-operated Mattel counterparts. Yes, I was a queer kid, but let's not jump ahead. My family no doubt thought it odd, but never to my recollection made me feel weird about it. I guess it was just one of those things I outgrew as my exposure to books continued. So in time, I abandoned my less than conventional methods and began short 1 to 5 page scribble rip-offs, fan fiction, with very basic storylines, a lot of action, very little dialogue or description, and crude Crayola colored pencil illustrations, all on college rule paper, y'all remember that, also served as front and back book covers. How were they bound? I'm glad somebody asked. I used everything from Elmer's glue and paste, and sometimes even resorted to 3 twist ties to fill in those 3 perfectly measured and machine-cut holes. Yes, the green things known to hold everything together, including loaves of bread and trash bags. It was all very sophisticated, actually. Hold on to those stories, sugar, Grandma would repeatedly say. They're going to make us rich someday. I got that first part of the equation down as I just reviewed those childhood masterpieces in the garage this year. Still working on that making us rich part, Grandma, but look at me, getting ahead of the story again. While Grandma's repeated refrain had planted a seed, the idea of writing creatively as a profession wouldn't even break the surface of my consciousness for at least another 20 to 25 years. And yes, I dated myself again, but I look great to be almost 40, so I'm focused. Having figured out the basics of Penguin's secret sauce and Random House's bookmaking recipe, 13-year-old Eddie began to challenge himself by writing longer pieces. The result, a 100-some-odd page, space-age science fiction novel featuring the 9 planets of the Milky Way. If only I knew Pluto's fate back then. And while I'm on the subject, can we please make Pluto a planet again? The Disney dog pants. Goofy has pants. They're both dogs. They're all planets. Pluto's getting shafted. Yes, it's a wild tangent. I'm still upset, but I'll digress. The handwritten story will be typed on a PC, which would subsequently crash, crushing my resolve, and the story be abandoned for a Fox Kids X-Men cartoon-inspired comic book series and other involved, don't tell anybody. And still, in word-for-word retelling of the spacefaring adventure on a road trip during college inspired me to type it again. Yes, I can hold a mean grudge. See my aforementioned comments about Pluto. I'm still upset. This is going to be a trait. Don't judge me, just cry for me. You know, I got in the medium between high school and subsequently college age was being force-fed early American and British literature, but treated to Zora Neale Hurston, Octavia Butler, James Baldwin, and Richard Wright while devouring the Chronicles of Narnia, I know y'all saw the movies, but I read the books, and exploring Valdemar and Mercedes Lady's Wake. The maps at the beginning of those last 2 and the intricate plots of my growing personal literary, visual, and animated canon were amazing as they led me away from deep, dark valleys of chronic depression and what would later produce 3 suicide attempts. But look who's still here. Reading Exposing myself to stories and the act of writing evolved from a means of entertainment and distraction into healthy coping mechanisms and a means of examining a life that would later include an HIV-positive diagnosis, all from a safe distance. The conflicts, rising action, and resolutions in these stories have provided needed positive perspective in relation to my own ups and downs, including, but not limited to, a passionate 7-year roller coaster romance with a certain sexy saxophone soul serenade, the essential reconciliation of my sexuality and spirituality, and discovering that the long-lost love I had been searching from above and all around has first been recognized, embraced, and fortified from within. Then, from that inexhaustible fountain, the same love could and would be shared infinitely, catch that, catch me by surprise from behind, and endure countless life and love changes. Club, shameless club, got them all in. The lifelong friendships forged with characters who would soon be joined by Raven Tyler and Basil of the late great Elaine Harris's Invisible Life series, as well as Spooky and Little Bit from the best-selling author James Earl Hardy Jr.'s B-Boy Blues series, more than distracted from crippling internalized homophobia. They would usher Eddie Saran Pierce Jr. and a growing cast of characters into a self-affirming life, not only as a 3-time and counting self-published writer, but perhaps more importantly, they introduced me and the world to the occasionally loud, always black and proud, eternally God in Christ love, same gender loving, Rainbow Room Publishing, catch that plug in your right hand, gay as hell gold card member carrying, outspoken storyteller that I am today, catch that plug in your left hand. Man, I would love to go on to regale you with tales of the hundreds of awards won, authors published, book adaptations filmed, countless lives enriched, the media's prophesied and made. I'm dying to amuse you with my overseas antics and international shenanigans. Haven't got over there yet, but I got my passport. I dream of spilling the tea with hot and steamy love stories about my third love / first husband / literal life partner. I can't wait to amuse you with gut-busting anecdotes about my first son, Mazai, and the heir of my empire. Or even just to amuse you to inspire you by having been honored for my 10th outspoken appearance. But I think you guys know the line by now. Say it with me, folks. That would be getting the end of the story.
Doom doom da da doom doom da da doom doom da da doom 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 da da doom doom da da doom doom da da doom 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 da da doom doom boom 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 doom doom da da doom doom da da doom doom da da doom doom. TikTok didn't have a song, so I had to do this voiceover. Dun dun da 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 da. You've been hit by you've been struck by a smooth criminal. Doom doom da da doom doom.
Babies was created as I had a lot of clients complain about loss of edges. As a brave stylist, that was one of the most common conversations I had in my chair. I began to research natural herbs and oils, Sensitive enough for babies, but tough enough for adults. After years of testing on clients and coworkers, I cultivated a formulation that not only grows the hair, but promotes thickening and strengthening. Tough Babies Hair Growth Oil is also an anti-itch and anti-dandruff prescription for your hair, for any ages, for any hair type. Head over to VannaCollins.com and place your order now.
Somebody new, you gon' think about me and I'll think about you too.